It's mailbag time here on the Cowboys Fans. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to everyone who's sending in questions and super thanks. A special shout out goes to Anthony Strader for sending in a super thanks. I really appreciate the support. As a quick reminder for this offseason, we're doing a special giveaway in honor of George Pickens' arrival. We're raffling a George Pickens jersey. All you have to do is send a $5 super thanks with a message, and you'll be entered into the drawing. Super chats work too when we're live. It's a fun way to stay connected with the channel and possibly win a piece of Cowboys memorabilia. First question is from Samuel, who shared that he bought tickets for himself and his father for the October 19th game when the Commanders come to town. What an awesome Father's Day gift. I'm sure your dad is going to love that. The Commanders might experience a bit of a sophomore slump this year, but I still expect them to be a competitive team. It should be a great game and hopefully one where the Cowboys walk away with the win. To you and your father, I hope it's a special experience and a memorable victory. Next up, we have a question from Ethan Rubin. He says he's hoping the Cowboys can spoil the Eagles' banner ceremony in Week 1. Honestly, that would be an incredible way to kick off the season. Dallas is going to be about a touchdown underdog, at least if the early lines hold, but pulling out a win in Philly would be huge. It wouldn't exactly ruin their banner night, but it would certainly put a damper on the celebrations. The rivalry between the Cowboys and Eagles is always intense, and social media goes into overdrive when these teams face off. Eagles fans tend to be especially vocal online, and beating them in Week 1 would set an amazing tone for the season. Let us know in the comments, C for Cowboys, E for Eagles, who you're picking for that big opening night clash. Moving on, we have a question from Midison215, who asks about how George Pickens might react to the way the Cowboys have handled paying their players, and he also mentions possibly trading for a veteran defensive tackle. Let's break that down. At defensive tackle, I agree this is a spot where Dallas is relying heavily on potential. You've got Osa Odigizua, Maisie Smith, Solomon Thomas, and Jay Tufua, and the team is hoping that at least one or two of those guys takes a big step forward. Ideally, I'd love to see the team pick up a veteran nose tackle, but those types of moves can be tough to come by. The Jordan Phillips trade worked out for Buffalo, but that was more about desperation at the time. Realistically, it's slim pickings when it comes to veteran defensive tackles available. As for Pickens, he's represented by the same agent as Micah Parsons, so he knows how this is going to play out. The team and player are likely aligned in a wait-and-see approach. Let him play out this year, and then the options can range from an extension to a franchise tag or him hitting the open market. He's an extremely talented player, and if he puts up another strong season, a lot of teams will be interested. Will the Cowboys extend him? Let us know in the comments why for yes and for no. Next, Trevont Johnson asked about Deuce Vaughn and if he'll get any playing time. Honestly, it's going to be a tough path for him. My last roster projection didn't have him making the final 53. There's still untapped potential, but the previous regime didn't utilize him effectively, and in the NFL, if you don't flash early, opportunities can be hard to come by. He needs a strong camp and preseason to carve out a role. Then we have a point from Steven, saying the Cowboys will wait until an hour before the season opener to sign a mega deal, just like with Dak Prescott. I'll be honest, as someone who has to cover this team, that was a brutal experience. The timing of that Prescott extension felt like it came out of nowhere, right before the game, and it threw a wrench into everything. I wouldn't be surprised if this team does it again, but for all our sakes, I hope that if another big deal is announced, it happens well before game day. Robert asked about starting Kiri Elam in the preseason, and I agree Elam needs those reps. Let him build some confidence and see where he's at. He's in the mix for a spot, and preseason action can be critical for him. Meanwhile, we've got Cowboys training camp gear, available hats, visors, bucket hats, and if we get enough requests, I might have to go full shoddy style for a special episode. All the gear can be found at chatsports.com/cowboyscamp, and I'll have that link in the description and comments. A question came in from Dash XL about the Cowboys making the playoffs if they finish 10-7. It's certainly possible, but not guaranteed. We've seen 10-7 teams miss out recently, like Seattle last year. Getting to 11 wins almost guarantees a spot, while 10 wins puts you closer to a 50-50 chance. The NFC North matchups will be critical for tie-breaking scenarios. Daniel asked about making a move for Jalen Ramsey. In theory, he'd be an amazing fit, but the price tag is huge, roughly $20 million per year. The Cowboys have been hesitant in the past about making that kind of financial commitment, and I don't expect that to change. It's more likely that the team sticks with younger talent unless an unexpected bargain emerges. Chris Hale asked about undrafted free agents making the roster. This year's group is smaller, only 9 signings, including names like Justin Barron and Elijah Clark from Syracuse. Those two have special teams value and could have a shot, especially as the team leans more toward experienced role players for the bottom of the roster. Then we have a question about Elam and if the Cowboys might pick up Stephon Gilmore to play in the slot. I don't think so. Elam isn't a slot corner, and Darren Bland is more suited for that role. Gilmore could be an option closer to training camp, but the Cowboys will want to evaluate Elam, Carson, and the rest of the cornerback room first. A fun one came from Ecuador man, AOG, wondering how many touchdowns it would take for Pickens to price himself out of Dallas. The truth is, it may come down to yards and overall performance more than a specific number. If he plays like he did last year in Pittsburgh, he could easily draw $30 million per year in free agency. The Cowboys would have to decide between tagging him, extending him, or letting him walk for a potential compensatory pick. Finally, we had a question about the Cowboys potentially leaning into more double tight end sets. It's a possibility, especially if the personnel is right. But with Lamb and Tolbert looking like primary options, and with the team being at its best in 11 personnel, I wouldn't bet on too much 12 personnel unless a second tight end emerges. That's it for this mailbag. Thanks for all your questions, super thanks, and super chats. If you want more Cowboys coverage every day, make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to comment your thoughts and questions down below. Until next time, this is Tom Downey, signing off from the Cowboys fans.